Hi, I'm Brenda Reiss, Forgiveness Coach, coming to you to talk about victim. Are you a victim? Or do you know one? Or have you been one? So, to be a victim is to perceive yourself as having been damaged or hurt by someone else, okay? And that because of them, we can't feel peaceful. My life is not good because of all these other circumstances around me. So the other person or situation is the cause for my unhappiness. Not my own. They are the cause of my unhappiness. And so this becomes our victim story, and it resides in our body and our mind as our victim consciousness, because that's how we look at the world. Our consciousness is how we view things. So we're constantly seeing ourselves as being victimized by other people, situations, government, society, and we're also blaming them for everything that's not good in our lives, right? It lies with everybody else out there, not in here. I'm not willing to take that kind of responsibility when I'm being the victim. And so what it shows up as is usually everything is my fault. So you get a lot of that with people. Now, they have blame out there, but when somebody internalizes it, I don't know if you've known anybody like this, but they take on all responsibility for relationships, for everything, kind of what they call the martyr. And so instead of having somebody else take responsibility for doing things wrong, it's like, oh my gosh, it's my fault. And because they think they can control it, but they really can't. So we don't have a choice really in these things that kind of happen to us. We can have, but when things do happen to us, what we do have control over is how long are we going to stay there, right? Because sometimes things happen to us or for us, but how long are we going to stay there? We have a choice of how long we're going to decide to be in victim. Because if we can't let go of the victim consciousness, then we're stuck in victimhood. And I don't like to be stuck in victimhood because I go there, right? In times of stress, you probably do too. We all, or fearful situations, they can stir up the victim in all of us. But the kind of victim I'm talking about is the kind that we feel helpless and we need to blame others. Basically, we're afraid to take responsibility for our own lives. And I lived my life that way for quite a while. So I'm just going to give you a couple questions to see maybe if you can say yes to them or not, because there are things that we can do to really flesh out why we're choosing to be the victim. And that's a huge part of the forgiveness work, is really looking at that and seeing where does that come from and how in the heck do we get rid of it? So let me read a couple questions to you, okay? So if you can answer yes or no to this, my first response to a setback is to blame someone else for what's happened. Okay. Or, no matter what I do, things are not really going to change for me. Or, I often find myself beginning thoughts with phrases like, I can't, I'm no good at, I've never been able to. Another one is, when things go wrong, I tend to beat myself up. Another one is, I spend a fair amount of time thinking about past failures and mistakes. And conversations with friends are often about how hard my life is. So if you have or do that in your life, then you might want to take a look at, wow, do I spend a lot of time in victim consciousness? Or do I know of somebody who does? And how does that feel to be around that person? It can feel very draining. So I encourage you, see what your answer is to those questions. And then if you want to talk about it or comment below, please do. And if you want some help with that, reach out. All right, talk to you soon.